In this video, we are working with McKinley, a young Jack Russell Terrier, and my chickens. The chickens are out of sight, but just so you know, they are about 100 feet away when he gets out of the car, and they are in a coop, so behind a fence and can't get any closer. Once McKinley sees the chickens, if he was off leash, he loses all control and fully engages his terrier traits. Is a great opportunity to work on McKinley being able to ignore distractions and listen to his owner, Paula. Even though there may not be chickens on every street corners, there are squirrels and other critters that will present this type of challenge, possibly a robin landing on an agility course. So this is a great opportunity with a controlled distraction to work through this skill. Whenever you start a session, you want to start ready. McKinley is on leash. We know if Paula just opened the door and opened the crate, McKinley would run out of the crate, run straight at the chickens, and start to bark. If we want to change his behaviors with the chickens, we need to start managing it before it starts. So right here. She has her cookies ready, and we're just standing far away from the chickens. The chickens are probably about 120 feet at this point, and she's doing ODR. He's looking, and then he makes the choice to come back to her. She does a simple behavior. She's using name game. He moves towards her. She rewards. So then we're going to keep taking a few steps at a time and regularly stopping and going, can you re-engage me? Which he does, right? He starts to walk and then he goes, oh yeah, good things happen when I pay attention to you. So there, I think he's looking more at me than at the chickens. And with McKinley, you can tell when he focuses hard because his tail stops wagging. And he's not. He knows where the chickens are without a doubt, but he's not fully focused. As she keeps getting closer, you can see him start to right there, see his tail almost stopped. And then he made the choice to come back to Paula. She called his name, reinforced him. So now I'm going to ask Paula to start asking for harder behaviors. I need him to engage his brain more and make this harder. So now he comes back and she asks for a down. She rewards the down. He brings his little butt up, but that's what they're working on. So that's perfectly, he's engaged. Momentary confusion for McKinley, whether she was asking for a down or figure eights around her legs, not a big deal. He was still engaged and working. So now we keep moving closer to the chickens to see what he can do. And you saw again, he was able to disengage from the chickens, and Paula's asking for spins in both directions. So now again, she releases out and says, go ahead, look at the chickens. And he does, but then goes, oh yeah, we're working. So you're giving him the opportunity to look and then letting him choose coming back to you, which is what we want. Down. Even though he is looking at Paula and has disengaged from the chickens, he has lost his verbal down cue, which he had 40 feet earlier closer to the car. Down.
Good.
He is working so hard to try to get into his down and stay in his down. And then the chickens made a chatter, and you saw his brain went, oh, chickens. And I told Paula to take a step away, and he right away went, oh yeah, sorry, we were working.
Wait, take a step towards, yeah. Good job. He kept it together, but so something easier than down. Ask him to sit.
So now his verbal sit has gone, and you saw she said sit, and he went chickens.
Take a step away from him. Don't tighten. Sit. Good. Reward. See how now it's all much, much harder? This is where you want to work skills. Reward that. Okay, now ask for take a step, sit or a down. Good. Did you ask for a sit? Okay. Ow. Don't just reward looking at you, ask for something.
So now we know that his ability to hear his sit and down cue and perform them is starting to fade. And it's because his brain is thinking more and more about the chickens. I want to be successful. So what I'm going to do is make it a little easier. We're going to use a hand signal to get a couple of down cues. And once his brain is a little more engaged, then we'll go back to the verbal. We are still practicing him listening while the chickens are that close, which is still getting us closer to where we want to be.
Hand signal to sit this time. Good. Release him.
Okay.
Good choice.
Good boy.
Hand signal to down.
Down.
Good. Amazing how he...
Not only did he down beautifully for the hand signal, he is also managing to work his stay, showing you how much more brain he has access to at the moment.
Amazing how he can't hear you once you get closer. Now move him and ask for a down again, verbally,
Without a signal?
without a signal.
Down.
Good.
Good. Good. Good.
Release him out, put him away.
We will continue to work sessions like this around the chickens while managing his access to the chickens by keeping him on leash when we are not actively working with him. Eventually, the habit around the chickens will be working with Paula, his owner, because that is where all the reinforcement history is, meaning the chickens will lose their value. Notice that I continually managed the scenario so that McKinley and Paula were successful and continued to be successful. We didn't go any closer to the chickens when skills got hard. You want to always maintain that level of success because that success is what you're building on. If I were to go closer and he lost the ability to listen, then all I'd be teaching him is around chickens, you don't listen. And that is exactly what we don't want. Have fun training this. Any questions? Let me know.